Here today with Coach Sterling Doty of the Stephenville Yellow Jackets. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing great, Tony. Thank you for having me on.
Now, not a bad year for the Yellow Jackets last year.
No, sir. No, sir. It was a great year.
Uh, that was their, I think, sixth state championship. Um, you were the coach this time, but you played on two of the championship teams back in the 90s, correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir. I played on the 98 and the 99 teams. So had my hand in three of them.
Now this championship was the first undefeated championship since your senior season. Now, one of the things I'm trying to do with some of these interviews is kind of give people a idea of people's past, coaches' past, from how they wound up where they will. So, if you don't mind, walk us through how you wound up where you are after high school and all the way to here.
Yes, sir. So I had the opportunity to play for Coach Art Browse and Mike Copeland and Randy Clements and Philip Montgomery, just to name a few of my high school influences. And I knew early on in my high school career that I wanted to do what they did, and that's build relationships with kids and motivate them to be better men. And the winning was a byproduct of what we were able to accomplish here in my playing days. And when I first got out, I went to West Point. I was at the military academy, played up there for Todd. Todd Barry. Yeah, Coach Barry. Played for Coach Barry at West Point for 2 years, and then I was up there. And I really enjoyed my time there. I was set to compete for a starting job there my sophomore season as I went to the prep school my first year. So my second year actually at the academy, I was set to compete for a starting job. And then Coach Browse got the Houston job in early January of 2003. And I told my dad, man, I said, I got to leave the academy. And he's like, do what? You're going to leave that education? And ever since then, he's called me a West Point dropout. Since that point, just because I wanted to go turn around the program there at Houston and do it with a man that I so much respected and so much loved, and the reason why I do what I do today is because of him. So transferred to Houston. I played at Houston from 2003 to 2006. Was part of the conference championship game with some great names. Played along some great players down there: Kevin Cobb, Jackie Battle, Vincent Marshall, just to name a few of them. Played with some other great linemen. I played center on the offensive line there, and then graduated in 2006. And my first high school coaching job was up in Abilene. I was at Abilene Cooper. Played in the Little Southwest Conference, so got to go up there and play Midland Lee, Odessa Permian, Odessa High, Midland High, and then our crosstown rivals with Abilene High. So some really good football. I got early on in my coaching career, had the privilege of coaching in, and then got the opportunity to interview for my I believe my third head coaching interview. I was down in Magnolia in 2014 and got in the room and got offered the job. So started down there in March of 14 and was a head coach down there for 5 seasons. Felt really good about the work we did there in Magnolia. And then in 2019, that spring, this job came open and I interviewed for it and ended up getting this job and had the opportunity to come back home where I was born, and where I wasn't born, but I was raised. My wife was born and raised here. And so opportunity to get back closer to family, and then the opportunity to lead a program that meant so much to me, and the opportunity to build young men and win championships.
Now, one of the aspects of being a head coach that outsiders like me don't really think of and don't really pay a lot of attention to, you mentioned the people that have mentored you, but now you're in that role. You're the mentor. You're the one responsible for developing the coaches there at Stephenville for whatever is next for them. Talk a little bit about that role.
Yes, sir. It's something that we hold very highly in regards to, the impact that we can make on every one of our students here as all the coaches or teachers, and then the ability that we can have on our players and impact the rest of their lives. We can influence them there for good and show them right from wrong and show them what good character looks like, and to raise good young men and turn them into, at some point, high school and college graduates, and then go on and get in the workforce and be good workers and be good citizens, and then ultimately become good husbands and fathers. We believe it's a calling from God, that he's placed us in this ministry to be able to love on kids and get the best out of kids, and show them that there's adversity in life. But if you work hard and you believe in what you're doing, and you treat people the way you want to be treated, then you will get through that adversity. And so we're just a shining light of that every single day is what we try to be. That goes for, I believe, every coach that's doing it right across the state.
Now, I know one aspect of what you teach your players is that they represent the high school and they represent the football program. After I think it was a scrimmage a few years ago, I heard you tell your players, if you go out to Whataburger and there's a bunch of kids that trash the place and there's one football player in that group, it's going to be the football players who get blamed, and they need to be aware of that they're representing the school and the football team at all times.
Yes, that's right. Because that logo you have on your chest, you represent that no matter if you're wearing it or not. And out in the community, in the classroom, on the competition field, every action has a consequence. And so you got to make sure that you're doing things the right way, and people are watching, but ultimately you want to do it right because it's the right thing to do. And this past season, with us going through what I believe was a great district and a great region, and on our way to winning the 6th state championship here, our motto, what we focused on this year, was just building leaders. And our motto was simple: it was leaders lead. And it's everybody, no matter what role they're in, you have the opportunity to lead others around you and to turn maybe a bad situation into a better one, or take a good situation and turn it into a great situation. And so we just try to really focus on building that leadership out of everybody here on campus, not only our players, but our staff and our administration, and just the impact of everybody doing their job to the very end. That has the opportunity to, do the things that we were able to do this past season, and get the best out of our players, and to set them up for a future success in life.
Well, congratulations, you're a state champion. Now it's the next season. You know what the expectations are there at Stephenville. And, what are you looking like so far? What have you seen from your kids in other sports so far this spring? And what are you looking like for the fall?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So we've had a really good spring. Baseball's rolling, district champions, and looking for a deep playoff run again. Our track teams have done well. We've had really good times and done really well in the field events. And that's allowed us to win the district track meet, to win the area track meet. We did really good at the regional meet last week up in Lubbock as well. Got lots of kiddos going down to Austin. And so we're excited about that. We've started spring drills. We've been out on the grass here a couple weeks. We feel really good about the guys that we got returning. We're first time in the history of Stephenville that a quarterback has the ability to go two-peat. And it's been seniors all the way through, except for 99 and Kendall Browse was our quarterback. And of course, Coach Browse left our senior year 2000 to go take the tech job. So Kendall went up there and played at Friendship. So nobody's been able to defend their title except for Ryder Lambert, the guy we got coming back and the leading passer in the state. So obviously with him and continuing to develop him both mentally and physically and leadership wise. He's had a really good spring, and because on the flip side of it, we lost some really good receivers. We got Coy Aiken going up to Tech. We got Reese Elston's going to sign a baseball scholarship. Two just dominant receivers for us, and so we got to go find some guys. And so Ryder's been great in that development of those young kids. We certainly have the pieces, but the inexperience is there, and they haven't seen what a Friday night looks like. So we're really focused on getting those positions right. Returned 2,000-yard rushers, and we got our tight end back. So, and we feel good about those spots, and returning 3 offensive linemen, which is huge. Guys that have played 16 games together, and so you can't get that experience anywhere else. Defensively, feel good about our defensive line. We lose a couple of our hogs up front in the middle, but we're returning both our defensive ends. Feel good about that, and feel good about the bodies that we got in place there at defensive tackle. Reese Young, our senior, that's going to ACU. Hard to replace that production. 250 so tackles and his leadership and what he meant to our calling card, the War Dog defense. Over there, you can't replace. We've had some guys that's been underneath that leadership and have seen it and seen the way that's got to be done on a daily basis, and hopefully they soaked it all up, and they've looked so good this spring on being able to move around and do everything that we're asking them to do. In the back end, we returned 4 out of 5 guys, so we feel good about our secondary. There, just with the continuity and guys that have played a lot of football together. Our 2 spots that we got to make sure we got to shore up are our receiving core and our linebackers core, and then everybody else just got to continue to develop and get the best out of themselves on a daily basis.
You mentioned Coy Aiken, and he had an incredible game in the championship game. What is that like as a coach? I mean, the kid, his capabilities. But then he just has a game that is, one of the best all-time games in a state championship. What's that like as a coach? Can you enjoy that while it's happening, or are you too busy working on all the details?
It's really, really special as you're going through it. You can't wrap your mind around it at the time, and so because of the stage that you're on, but. What was so cool for us, and we talked about it as a staff afterwards, is we got to see Coy do that every week. I think 93 receptions, 31 touchdowns. That was, every third catch was a touchdown for him. So it's just the continuity that and camaraderie between Ryder and the receivers last year, man. It was really special. And Coy was then able to cap it off on the biggest stage, making a huge special teams tackle. He had an interception, and of course all the big plays that you saw, in the passing game. And so, just what a special game, and that propelled him on to go to Texas Tech. Before that, he had a FBS offer at halftime of that game on his phone. We didn't know about it at the time, but Western Kentucky had called and offered him. So. Definitely holds true to the old saying is if you want to get recruited, go out there and play for a long time, be a great high school player.
All right. So one more question before I let you go. It might be the hardest question. One thing about Sterling Doty that most people don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to pull something out. It's recent, it's fresh, and it's right now. Something that I'm living today. I'm going through it. So we have a tradition here in Stephenville that our players going in the state game, they dye their hair. So you look back at the game, we got a lot of blondies on the sideline. Well, my hair wasn't dyed because, Tony, I prefer to keep mine like yours. And I knew if I dyed it, I was going to completely just scalp my head. It was going to be burning, itching, really irritated my head. And so the players were like, well, Coach, you got to do something because we're all dyeing our hair. You got to promise us if we win state, what do you want to do? And so I told them, okay, I said, I'll grow out my hair until the first game of our 22 football season. So here you go. So I got a haircut the Tuesday of the semifinal game last year, which would have been about December 5th, somewhere in there. So this has been about, 4 or 5 months here growing out my hair. And then at coaching school, I'll have the long hair. Don't tell them what it's going to look like going in the season, but I'll be ready for August 26th when we get to go play Heritage, because I'll be able to shave it off and get it back to a low cut. So if anybody sees, it's not a midlife crisis or anything that I'm going through. Literally, it's because I'm just carrying out a debt that I owe the 21 football team.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, thanks for your time today, Coach, and best of luck with the 2022 season.
All right, Tony. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you reaching all the way up here to Central Texas and North Central Texas. I know you based out of the Houston area, and appreciate your relationship and all you do for our great game.